Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that, guys. I was sharing the live and didn't realize it went over the time. How you doing, everybody? It's the Pearl of Wisdom Show coming to you live. So, yeah, Brassard goes to the Rangers. And say whatever you want about Chuck Fletcher. He doesn't sit on his hands, does he? I think it's okay, I suppose. It's all right. It's depth. If they have injuries, they got a guy that can play. I don't know. Do I think he's going to win a spot on the roster? Probably not. But it's possible, I suppose. Yeah, and then Rask, well, I guess I was wrong. I thought he would retire, but apparently he's going to come back for virtually nothing. Like, just doesn't care about money. He's just going to come back as a whatever role that they want to give him. I don't know. What does that mean? Like, he's just going to be a third goalie, I guess? Unless Swayman, or one of them gets injured. Maybe Swayman or Allmark gets injured, but you're gonna put you're gonna put Swayman down in the minors. I don't know. Weird situation. If I was Boston, I'd be like, let's just retire, dude. You're gonna be a goalie coach. What's he gonna do there? And I mean, they had to have known already that he was gonna come back, because you would think that they would have, and then they would go out and get Allmark anyways. So it's a very weird situation going on there with Rask. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he was like, oh, I'll think about it. And they're like, well, we can't wait. So we're going to go get Allmark. And then you tell us after we get Allmark what you're going to do. You think they're going to trade Allmark? That's kind of a rude thing to do. He could be like a goalie coach, I think. Maybe he's willing to accept whatever role they'll give him, and he's just going to take his money and help out the way he wants. Yeah, because the way he said it, if I read this, it sounds like he said, okay, let's see what he said here. He quoted, he was on a radio station. He explained that he has basically agreed to a deal with the Bruins to return as a veteran option partway through the season. As a veteran option. So he's coming back as an option, according to him. I have no reason to chase the money anymore and go somewhere else. It's going to be one of those things where the Bruins are my home. Boston is my home. I've always wanted to play here, wanted to stay here, so the money won't be an issue. We had a conversation, and I will be a cheap goalie for the team. So he's going to sign on for the league minimum. Hey, Mercer, how you doing? Good day. By the way, I did a video. I haven't put it out yet. I did the video for the general manager video. I only did to the Montreal Canadiens, and it took 52 minutes. Wow, so you guys are going to have to take an hour out of your day to watch that. Yeah, we'll get into the Brassard signing, but the more interesting one right now is Rask. So it says, with Allmark in town and the 22-year-old Jeremy Swayman pushing for playing time, the Bruins don't need Rask forever. But if he's healthy enough to return in January, as indicated today, there's no doubt Boston could use him down the stretch. Yes, there is doubt that Boston could use him down the stretch. Let's face it, if Rask is back and they figure he's healthy, hey, K-Swiss, how you doing, buddy? Rask signed in Boston. No, not signed. He went on. Rask went on a radio station and said that he had worked out a deal with Boston, that somewhere along the season he'll come back as a veteran option. That's how he said it, as a veteran option. which sounds like to me that he's not going to play unless one of these two goaltenders doesn't perform well or get injured. So, and he said he was going to be cheap, a cheap veteran option. He's basically doesn't care about the money. He's taking like league minimum halfway through the season to come back and do whatever they want him to do. If that means be a goalie coach, then I guess that's what he does. He's a goalie coach. Yeah, I mean, well, age and injury. Like, you know, I don't know how the injury is. But, I mean, it's weird because, I mean, if he can come back and be top notch, aren't you going to try him in the playoffs? But now that you have Allmark, you don't want to do that either. So, yeah, that's going to be a very interesting situation. I'm pretty sure that when they make the playoffs, and there's going to be a goaltender in the playoffs, if Rask is available and healthy, Rask will be the one until Rask will be the one that they're going to choose until he proves otherwise, I would think. Unless, like, Allmark and Swayman are just absolutely freaking insane, which could very well be true too. Allmark and Swayman could be killing it so hard. But the thing is, neither one of them have playoff experience. So neither one of them have any playoff experience. And Rask does. I have a feeling that it'll be Rask's job to lose come playoff time, depending on how many games he gets in the regular season. I mean, I guess it's a great problem to have. It's a great problem to have for sure. We have three very good goaltenders. One that wants to stay in Boston, doesn't care if he makes any money. It's a great problem to have. I think it's likely Swayman will be excellent again. Bill, I'd like to tell you what I don't know. I don't know. If from what I saw of Allmark the last 2 years in Buffalo, I think he's going to crush it in Boston. From what I've seen of Swayman, I think it's a very good chance he crushes it in Boston. Like, they're going to have the best goaltending in the league by far. So what do I think they're going to do with Rask when he comes in? I think it's possible Rask ends up sitting on the pine. How do you, if both goaltenders are absolutely crushing it, how do you tell them to sit down? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't doubt if Arizona doesn't win a game this year, honestly. Like, they could break records this year, especially if they keep their goaltending the way it is. Best goaltending? Certainly best top three in the league. No doubt about that. If Allmark is as good as he looked like in Buffalo, and Swayman is as good as he showed, they could be the best, even tandem in the league. But you know how much I love Bernier and Blackwood, but yeah, that's a Allmark 1 week. That's not very good for goaltenders to do that, though, especially for a young guy like Allmark. If he's crushing it, you got to keep on playing him, man. I think, anyways. I don't know. In general, Chicago and Lankinen and Fleury in Chicago could be the best. But I think you can make a case that Allmark and Swayman will be as good, if not better, than those two together. More than likely, Fleury gives it the edge right now. But he is also getting up there at age 2. So, and I still think New Jersey's going to look pretty fantastic too. So, oh, I got to get my TikTok going here. Well, I'll wait until we start taking a player to be traded from every team. Which I'm hoping to get I'm hoping we can get 8 concurrents at least. 8 concurrent viewers on here. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it was funny that Allmark took that deal. I don't know if anybody, it must have been the most money. He must have been going with the most money that he was being offered. Because if I'm a goaltender and let's say Colorado was offering about the same amount of money, I think I would go to Colorado because there's nothing in Colorado going to stop you. You go to Boston, you're competing with a super kid like Swayman. Rask is sitting on the back. He put himself in a more difficult situation that there might have been other options out there. The Edmonton Oilers, he would have had nobody to take his spot for who knows how long if he decided to go to Edmonton. I don't know if Edmonton was willing to pay that much money for a goaltender. It doesn't appear to be that they were, but there's not 10 people here now. Does it show 10 people for you? Because it only shows 5 for me. I'd love to get 10 people in the stream concurrent for sure. That would be freaking awesome. Let's do it, guys. 10 in the stream. Everybody hit that like button. But it's a good problem to have. And if they do trade Allmark, if they've signed him for the idea of trading him down the road, I suppose, as long as it, not pissing Allmark off too much. Well, he didn't. I don't think he wants to. I don't know if he wants to not play for Washington. I'm just not sure Washington wants to give him money again. I think Florida would be the best bet there, but I don't know how much people think he's got left in him. That's the thing. I mean, why wouldn't he want to go back to Washington? Why wouldn't the Islanders be calling him up? For league minimum, if you think he's got the legs to play, the Islanders certainly could use the depth. I don't know what he's hoping for. Maybe is Chara hoping to be a top 6 guy in the league right now? I'm not sure that he is that anymore. So I'm not sure that he is a top 6 guy anymore. So it depends on what he wants, I guess. I wouldn't be surprised if New Jersey called him up, but that's not really. He's going to want to go to a team that's a contender. Maybe he's holding out to see if Tampa Bay gives him a call. Think about that. No, we're going to try to get to 10 people in the, yeah. If they, yeah. I don't think they could do a deal with, I don't think they could get Eichel and pay him if they had Fleury, though. So that's a problem there. Canes, yeah, it's possible, I suppose. He could fit there. That might be getting a little far away. I think he wants to stay in the Boston area. The Leafs, they don't have any, for league minimum, sign Chara to the Leafs. Probably better than a lot of the options that they have. Detroit doesn't make sense. Buffalo doesn't make sense. The Leafs would be the only team that makes some sense there. But he did sign in Washington. Washington, he says he doesn't want to be in the West, but I mean, Washington's not that far away from the West. So I think what he's saying is he really wants to be closer to Boston. So Chara won't go to the West. St. Louis Blues already tried to call him up and ask him to come over. St. Louis Blues already made an offer. Going to how about Montreal? What if Chara goes to Montreal? Yeah, I heard some rumblings about Patrick Kane. I heard some, of course, there's always the idea that he goes to Buffalo, but like, why the heck would he go to Buffalo? Just because he lived there? I mean, no. That's not happening. It's really, I doubt very much Kane is going anywhere now. Hey, Hockey News Reports. Come on, Hockey News Reports. We're trying to get up to 8 concurrents here. We're talking about the whole Rass situation, so we're trying to get up to 8 concurrents. And when we get up to 8 concurrents, we'll start doing a player traded from every team. We're going to do a player traded from every team. So we're going to do what's the most likely player most likely to be traded from every team. I did a video of the coaches' grades, but it was only up to the Montreal Canadiens, and it took 52 minutes. Yeah, the Sabres were a contender, but they are far from that. So, yay! Hockey News Reports did the Perla dance with me. Yay! I tried to get some people. I played volleyball yesterday. I tried to get some people to do the Perla dance there, and they won't. I don't know what people's big deal is. Like, just go like this and get a TikTok. Oh, I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed about what? What are you embarrassed about? What's like, oh, I'm embarrassed to have fun. I'm too embarrassed to have fun. This is fun. Like, this is so much fun. Do it right now. And tell me you can't do it and have a smile on your face at the same time. If there's people out there judging you for that, you know what they can do. They can go to the Perlo's House of Spanking right now. Instantly. They need Perlo's House of Spanking in a big, bad way. By the way, Perlo's House of Spanking, it's the best there. I said it. No, of course not. What's wrong with this month? Oh, because of hockey, you mean? CL in the house. We're going to get up to 8 concurrents here. I know we are. Woo, we're up to 5. Slam that like button, everybody. Let's get this going. So what do you think, CL, about the Brassard deal? Okay, we'll talk about the Brassard. Oh, it's hot. Okay, it's not hot here. I'll tell you that right now. It's about 60 degrees here, Fahrenheit, something like that. It's about 60 here. It's perfect. 60, 65, something like that. So let's look at Philadelphia, shall we? Philadelphia, Brassard. Are you aware, CL, that I'm pretty sure you're aware Philadelphia picked up Brassard? Did we brought Nate Thompson back too? All right, so that's why Brassard was picked up. He plays with Allison Wade, and it's a good deal. Nothing wrong with it. It pretty much shuts the door on Morgan Frost having a chance, though. Who's going to play? A whole lot of rookies are probably not getting a shot this year. it better. Yeah, Thompson isn't great. I don't think Frost is going to beat out Brassard. I don't think they signed Brassard with the thoughts of Frost beating him out. But yeah, he needs more time in the AHL. It's getting to that point with Frost. I don't know. Yeah. It's getting to that point where you're starting to wonder about Frost, if whether he's going to make it or not. But they have a veteran team now, so AV should be pretty happy. I mean, he did well for his skill set in his career, but I watched him in Winnipeg last year, buddy. You don't want to be playing him in the 82 games, that's for sure. Bring him in every once in a while with fresh legs on the backside of a back-to-back or something like that, but you don't want to be playing him. Yeah, he's got quite a bit of skill. He's one of those guys that I always thought that was not skillful enough to play in your top six and not good enough defensively to play in your bottom six. Those tweeners, he's probably going to be a depth guy overall. That's my thing. This Frost will always be a depth player for Philadelphia. Maybe like a 14th or 15th forward, plays when injuries occur and stuff like that. But those were some pretty big things that came up. We actually had some news, which was pretty cool. We haven't seen news for a while, so I got one. The NHL grades for all 82 defensemen is at 789 views right now. If you guys can find the time to click on that and let it go while you're doing something else, I'd like to get it up to 1,000. That'd be freaking awesome. I've only had one other video get 1,000, and that was all the whole Scheifele incident got up to 1,000. He did play well under AV, but what do I think about Vegas this season? How do you think they will do with Fleury gone? Lehner is a question mark. He's got all the skill in the world. Can he keep his head in the game? Can he just not let things bother him and focus on hockey? If he does, he's freaking a beast of a goaltender. No doubt about that. Like, he's fantastic. So if he can do that, I think Vegas will be fine, but it still comes same as last year where I was talking about the center depth. I mean, Patrick really going to have a resurgence this year? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's likely that Patrick is going to have a resurgence this year because he's in a different room or whatever the case may be. To me, everything I've seen of Patrick is a guy who is almost like plays a victimhood mentality. He's got tons of natural talent, but he doesn't have it up here. He doesn't have it here. He doesn't have it up here, and he doesn't have it here. He's got to just put his head down, shut up, and do his job. Quit bitching about what's going on around him. And so maybe they can get that out of him there. Apparently his father is in the organization or something like that. It may work out all right. And then, Howden from the Rangers, that guy has fallen off so hard the last 2 years. Do I think he's all of a sudden going to turn it around for Vegas? Maybe. I mean, they've had it happen. They've had players go there and have career years on a consistent basis. So maybe they find the magic tonic or whatever it is that, I don't know whatever happened to Howden. His progression His development just went woo straight down. Makes you wonder about his commitment and stuff like that, because it doesn't appear to be injuries. Yeah, how Seattle does with Grubauer, yeah, for sure. I think he's going to get a lot of shots. You think he's going to go back to like he was in the first year? I don't know if we'll ever see that again. I think that was just a level of excitement that brought him to there, like being in the new digs and everything has kind of got normal now. And I don't know. Could, I suppose anything can happen, but I don't think he's going to get to those levels again. Especially since they really don't have. They have yeah, he's got tons of speed and all of that. But one of the reasons why, like, he kind of came out of nowhere that first year. So a lot of teams didn't have their eye on him. Now teams focus on him because you got Chandler Stevenson. You know, you don't really have to focus on him particularly on that line. He helps that line a lot because of his speed, because Stone and Pacioretty are not the fastest guys in the world. So he's the speed for that line. And all he has to do is go get the puck and pass it to those guys, and he does a good job of it. But William Karlsson is the only guy that, if you're going to identify a player, a center, that you want to shut down, it's Karlsson. And after his first year, everybody was like, okay, we've got to watch Karlsson, obviously. And he's never got the points that he did before. He's still done very well. He's still played extremely well. He still uses his speed well and all of that. But do I think he's ever going to get points like he did his first year? I don't know. Not unless he gets like some wonder kind like Kaprizov or something playing beside him. Then maybe. But playing with Marchessault and Smith? Probably not. They said it wasn't out of the question that he would come back, but I don't know. He left the door open as a possibility that you just never know. If he gets some sort of deep desire to do so, he's sitting at home and it's getting close to playoff time. He's got to make that decision, I think. You can do it right at playoff time. Like, it's getting close to playoff time and he gets that fever going on in him and he, feels like he wants to be part of something. But by that time, is Krejci going to be as good as Krejci normally is? Maybe. Did he even sign? Like, did he retire completely or did he sign in Czech Republic? I can't remember. If he signed there and the team missed the playoffs or something, maybe he might. If he didn't sign in Europe at all, though, I would say it's highly unlikely that he's going to be coming back. Okay, well, we got 4 concurrents. So he signed, okay. Well, since he signed, maybe he might have a chance for that. So, okay, why don't we just go ahead and start doing players traded from every team. We'll do it really slow. We'll talk it through because Mario wants to be part of some of these tomorrow. So Phil Kessel will be a GM one day. I doubt that. He'll be the general manager of his fishing boat, maybe. Yeah, I thought it was okay. I mean, only 800 and some thousand. He's not going to Broussard is weird. He's the guy you want if you want offense from your bottom lines. He's a good passer. You can use him on the second power play unit in a pinch. His skating isn't what it used to be, but he's smart enough to not have it hurt. He won't hurt you. That's the thing. Yeah. Well, Lamoriello hates the media too. Well, not really hates it, but Lamoriello, you don't hear Lamoriello in the media too often. He doesn't like to deal with the media either, so. The Habs should have got Broussard. Maybe they tried. I don't know. Why didn't the management pay their rent? Because he's losing money every year. But you should still pay your rent. Yeah. And that's what we could talk about. Okay, let's do that. Let's bring up our free agents. I'll edit this for a second. Okay. Okay. Remaining free agents and where they may go. We'll do that for an hour. So you got Zach Parise. Where does Zach Parise? I hear that they're. Where did I hear Zach Parise going? It wasn't the Islanders. A lot of people were saying the Islanders. Yeah, Ryan Donato seems like somebody the Leafs would sign. Can't play defense worth poop, so should work out well there. Yeah, well, yeah, they're in total rebuild. Like they're gonna suck for a couple of years. Was it the Kings? Kings makes sense, I guess. So Anaheim. What about it? Why did you say so Anaheim? Where did you say? Lauren, I really feel sad for the guy. Oh, and for Anaheim Ducks fans. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Anaheim Ducks fans, it sucks to be an Anaheim Ducks fan for sure. Parise to the LA Kings. I think that's what I did here, actually. Makes some sense, I guess. I get a feeling he's going to go to the Oilers. I get a feeling he's going to go to the Oilers, and they're going to promise him they're going to try him with McDavid or something like that. Just wouldn't surprise me. I don't know why, but I just get that feeling that he's going to go to the Oilers. Arizona, Boston. Chicago Blackhawks could do something like that since they already did grab a whole bunch of guys. They could bring in another guy with cups. Colorado Avalanche. I think maybe that's what I heard. Just to get some cups in the room, like a leader like that. Now, especially after they lost Saad. Possibly. Flames, I wouldn't go there if I were him. I'd want to go to a contender, maybe the Dallas Stars. Basically, any team that's a contender. What if Minnesota signed it back again after? Apparently not the Islanders. I can't see the Rangers. Philadelphia's tapped out. Pittsburgh. I heard that's what it was. I heard Pittsburgh Penguins. The Parise may go to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Raquel should be traded at the deadline if they're out of it, which I can't see why they wouldn't be out of it. I don't know. Why are they holding on to guys like that? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Trade, get your picks. They're making this rebuild last forever because they're not getting guys to develop and get better quicker. Parise's price? No more than $1 million now. No more than $1 million, I don't think. Probably $1 million for price. Or for Parise for price. St. Louis Blues are going after Chara, so maybe there's another one out there. Toronto, I heard about Toronto. I don't think he wants to go to Canada, though. Those would seem like the most likely to me. I think Cam Fowler has a no NTC, and he won't waive it. That's the reason why he hasn't been traded. Because there was talk about him getting traded a long time ago. I think they're done. I think the Flyers are done now. No, that's it. They're done. It's next year they'll have to sign Sanheim and Ristolainen. Couturier is going to get a big paycheck. Claude Giroux I don't know what that's going to, what's that contract going to look like for Giroux next year? Well, I would love Josh Manson to the Edmonton Oilers, Whiteshaw, but they have no room now. That would be awesome. I'd take him over Keith all day long. No, well, I mean, he could have went to a couple places. He doesn't want to go east. If he went anywhere, it'd be like he was only going to go somewhere around the Anaheim area, apparently. Getzlaff. Couturier, yeah. That's going to be a big one. Couturier is going to be a big one for sure. Okay, what do we got next? Travis Zajac is apparently waiting, and the Islanders are going to sign him. James Neal will probably get a tryout. He'll probably get a camp tryout. Tyler Bozak. It depends how much Tyler Bozak wants. He's coming off a $5 million contract. It's possible like the Boston Bruins could try him out. He's got to take a big pay cut for sure. Colorado could use a little depth there up the middle, in case so they have somebody to replace Kadri when he gets his next suspension. Columbus Blue Jackets. There's a couple teams. Again, I don't think he's getting, at this stage of his career, I don't think he's getting much more than $1 million a year. Maybe $1.5 million. Something like that. Where do you guys think Bozak goes to? To the cage, huh? You don't. It's his Toronto players. He just throws them under the bus like crazy, Mr. Whiteshaw. What are you going to give Giroux? Like, what is his value? Forget about whether he takes less or not now. What is Giroux's value? He's still almost a point-a-game player, right? Like, it's almost like he's getting older, but his decline hasn't been that much, really. Maybe 6 million or 5 million or something like that. If he takes a discount, maybe 5 to 6 million. 5 million would be a pretty good discount for how many points he puts up. Brozak to Long Island with, what's HSI, bros? Are you talking about like where he went to college? $7 million. 7 million would be, no, I don't think 7 million would be a discount, but oh yeah, I asked you that. So yeah, 7 million is probably what he is, yeah. Because he's putting up like a 50 to 60 point centerman. So I would say in the market now he's about 7 million. Yeah. Oh, is that right? Him and Hall are almost identical. And now Hall is a little bit younger, but Eric Stahl to the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know why we would need that to happen. Oh, why am I yawning? I don't know why we don't need that to happen. The Edmonton Oilers. We don't need a guy that slow. I suppose if we still had Kyra there, maybe. Ekholm? Are you talking about Ekholm to the Boston Bruins? Maybe at the deadline when they have cap space. Oh, but no Oates. Yeah, Hall and Oates. Yeah, there was Hall and Oates in St. Louis. All right, let's look at another one. Bozak. Where did we go at? I really have no idea where Bozak's going to go. If maybe he goes back to Toronto, if you really like being in Toronto. Possibly even Ottawa, but it depends on what. Does he want a for sure contender? I would imagine at his age he would. It's tough picking the free agents now at this time. What's next? Kyle Palmieri apparently is waiting on the Islanders. But I don't know. They can't sign everybody. He's waiting to see what the Islanders do. He wants to go back to the island. But I don't think he can get $4 million, maybe. I don't know. The Islanders, how much cap space do they have? I think it's like 12 million or something, right? Oh, just under 12 million. And they still got to sign Beauvillier again. So all of these guys waiting, Zajac, Palmieri. Beauvillier is probably going to get, if they sign him to a bridge that puts him into free agency, maybe 4 million of that. And then I suppose they could then sign Palmieri. That leaves them with a pretty thin D line though. What we're going to do when we have enough people to do it is, which is probably in the second hour, and we won't get it all done. What we're going to do is which player is most likely going to get traded from every team. And then we could talk about a whole bunch of players while we're doing that. More players that are the most likely to be traded player from every team. That's what we're going to do in the second when we come back from break. But right now we're just looking at like where free agents might go. Bozak had 17 points in 31 games. That's not bad. Somebody's going to give him something out there. But I imagine he's going to want to go to a contender. I'm going to say Colorado. I'm going to say Colorado gives Bozak some sort of a deal there. Palmieri, we already did. Eric Gudbranson, who cares? Anybody care where Eric Gudbranson goes? Like, the guy is just, he's gotten worse as his career has gone on. Phil Kessel to Vegas? Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Trade deadline, and I don't know. Phil Kessel's going to go to some team that needs goal scoring. Maybe Dallas Stars. So maybe the New York Islanders. But I don't think the Islanders want to take an attitude like that. Lamoriello's not big on that. Right, but apparently he asked for a trade. He wants to be traded before the season starts. So, he's making a pretty good chunk of change. I don't think Arizona is going to retain. So it leaves the options pretty limited. How much is Kessel making now? You know, he's signed only till next year at 6'8". He's actually that's not that bad for his point production. 43 points in 56 games. Where the heck did he go? I don't think Chicago, they can't have all the players that don't play defense on their team, can they? I would say Dallas. Somebody brought up Florida one time. With all the heart that they have there, maybe they could handle a guy like him. Just imagine Huberdeau passing the puck to to Reinhardt and Kessel, assuming Kessel. I don't know. We're going to have to see also what he's going to be like. He hasn't taken care of himself his whole career, but yeah. Edmonton Oilers want Jake DeBrusk. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. They have to see something in DeBrusk that Boston obviously doesn't see. It's just point production. DeBrusk doesn't go into the places that a player like him needs to go to score. That's the problem with DeBrusk. And he just refuses to do it for whatever reason. I don't know. He plays way too perimeter. He gets beat off the puck way too often. So unless they must figure they can turn him around somehow, some way. I know that I'm surprised with his dad too that he's like that. I know Louis DeBrusk when he played for the Oilers. He didn't want to be a fighter. He was very stubborn, and he didn't fight anywhere near as much as Edmonton wanted him to. Glenn Murray, I remember Glenn Murray. Yeah, Boston Bruins, New York Islanders, I believe. New York Islanders. I do remember Glenn Murray. If they for some reason think they can get it out of him, he should be a 20 plus goal scorer and a 50-point guy for his skill set. Maybe get new life playing alongside McDavid. If you can't start putting up points on doing that, but almost for sure Hyman's going to be there, so you would be playing him on the third line. I don't know what you would do with DeBrusk in the Oilers lineup. Yeah, Glenn Murray played for the Kings. I do remember Glenn Murray. Yeah. Jake Virtanen, I don't know. Is he gonna is he gonna stop partying and focus on hockey? Hard to say. If anybody that would be taking Jake Virtanen would probably hire somebody to follow him around in the summer and see what he's doing. Because the guy comes to camp out of shape all the time. And then he's got in trouble too, so he's probably not going anywhere. Alex Chason will probably get a chance somewhere. Alex Chason probably has a few options, actually. He's just waiting to see if he can get on the best team possible so he can win a cup somewhere. I did not see what Gorton said about D'Angelo. Gorton said something about D'Angelo recently. I looked it up. He's a good guy, he just needs to learn to behave. What does that exactly mean? I don't think they're related. He started with he's a Philly guy. Huh. I don't know. What does that have to do with anything? D'Angelo's a Philly guy. What does that mean? Help me out. Alex Chase on. I don't think he's related. No, it doesn't say anything about his. It doesn't even say he must be very private because it doesn't even say anything about his mother and father in there. So I don't think so. No. Basically, he's a loudmouth. Steve Chason was a very good defenseman. Yes, absolutely. Detroit Red Wings. I think he played. Steve Chason played for Detroit. Didn't he play for the Rangers and Winnipeg Jets? I don't know. I'm just doing it off the top of my head. Oh, basically he's a loudmouth. Okay. Philadelphia. Okay. Yeah, he says what's on his mind. You're going to have to live with that. The big thing about guys like that is you just don't take them too seriously and just kind of laugh it off and keep rolling and let the guy play. Now he's going to Carolina where, you know, a lot of the guys have played with him before and they can kind of tell the guys just, you know, we know he's a tool in a way. Like, we know that there's always, haven't you, like, if you played team sports, you always had that guy that was annoying, just loud and saying stuff all the time and just like, what are you talking about, dude? And you just gotta ignore guys like that and revert the conversation back to the ice again. Like, don't worry about whatever he's saying about what he's afraid of out in the world and all that kind of stuff like that. Like, just don't give it any fuel. I think Carolina's done. I don't see where else they can add there. They have young players coming up that, you know, need ice time. I don't see why they would add anymore. All right, doggy time. When we come back, we'll discuss some where players are going to be traded and stuff like that. We won't get it all done today because we're going to talk a lot about it. So I'll see you in a bit. I'm going to go to the a word from our sponsors.
Greetings. This is Steel Flyers from the Steel Flyers All Sports Network, and we have two very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of two locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taking care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs. In fact, let's find out what our friends at CCC Resorts offer. Nicole, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What are some of the great boarding services that you guys offer, and what do we have to do in order to get our furry friends taken care of when we are unable to travel with them?
Well, we like to bring everybody in for a tour first. That way they can see the behind the scenes, they can see where they stay, they can see where they play, and then we explain all of the fun things that we can add on to their reservation, whether it be one of our packages, either a nature walk, a ball time, or even a cuddle time.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Boy, it sure sounds like a resort to me. So, how are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tracy, tell me, is it true that you guys have both an indoor and an outdoor pool at the Windsor location?
It is true. We've got one of each, so we're able to offer year-round swimming. The indoor pool is a great option for dogs who are swimming for therapy or rehab. It's got that sloped entry so they can wade into the water. Our outdoor pool is a little bit larger and it's 4 foot deep the whole way across. And both of them are saltwater pools, so it's really easy on the dog's skin and coat.
Wow, that's very awesome. So then during the summer months, you have a much deeper pool outside and then a sloped entry shallow pool indoors for the dogs. Tracy, tell the folks how we can get some pool time.
Well, the first thing everyone does is come for an intro swim. We use that time to make sure the dog is comfortable in the water. We make sure they know how to get out of the pool safely, and we go over all the pool rules and etiquette with the clients as well. After that, they're able to schedule private appointments where they have the pool to themselves, or they can invite friends and have a whole group swim going on.
So after a dip in the pool, then it would have to be off to the groomers, right? I mean, our furry friends cannot go out looking their best. Nicole, what are some of the great services your top-notch groomers provide?
Our groomers, they specialize in full service grooms. We can do the basics, whether it be just a bath and a brush out or a blowout. Or for the extra pampered pooches, we can do nail dremels, we can do deodorizing soaks, and also facials.
Wow, man, that sounds like a resort if you ask me. Tracy, I know one of the main programs here at CCC Resorts is the WAGS program. The Steel Flyers dog is enrolled in this program. So why don't you tell the folks what is involved in this and how they can get enrolled?
Yeah, the WAGS program is our primary daycare option at the Windsor. It's designed to be a structured program for people who are looking for a set routine for their dog. They all come on the same days each week, which allows them to have set friends, and we know exactly what's going on with each group. So we do a little bit more activities and we build more into their daily routine there. But we've got other daycare options as well for people looking for a little less commitment. We do an hourly care where you can drop them off and just pay by the hour. We also do a day stay option, which is great for the dogs that prefer human friends instead of making friends with other dogs. And then we have a traditional daycare option as well if you're looking for the occasional outing for your dog.
Wow, there you have it. A full service groomer, a daycare program, and an indoor and outdoor pool. What more could you ask for? Sure seems like CCC Resorts has everything covered. Remember, DOG, depend on God.
I guess you could hear all that. We're back. I forgot to Renberg, yeah. Legion of Dooms are pretty. You know how much money that would cost to have a Legion of Doom line now? Could you imagine the cost of that line? Lindros now would make what? 11, 12 million, something like that. Leclerc, what, 40 goal scorer? That line would make huge. I don't know if we'll ever see it again. If we do, it'll probably be for a short time. It would be pretty cool, but I think it would be for a pretty short time. Okay, I got to get this going on TikTok, and now we're going to talk trades. Mike Ricci, I love Mike Ricci. One of my faves all time. All right. Yeah, I got live on TikTok now. We got to get more than 2 people here. We got 2 people here, really? 2 people? That's the punishment for having sponsors to pay for the fine programming we have. We got 2 people. Can't do it with 2 people. We're going to need to make more than 2 people. So, look at some of the teams back then. Like, they would never have been able to afford teams like the Pittsburgh Penguins in this world now with Yager and Mario Lemieux and Stevens and Tocchet, Francis. Like, they'd never be able to afford that team today. Yeah, that's all right. We had, Francis, like, just those 3 guys alone would have been making almost half your cap or more. Lemieux, Yager, and Francis. Probably close to half your cap right there. Yeah, Francis that was ridiculous. Like, that team was crazy. Defense, Samuelson and guys like that, and Murphy. I always forget who was on the defense, who was on their defense back then. But their top 12 was just stupid, just absolutely ridiculous. Who else was on that? Who was on it? Was it Caulfield? I want to say Caulfield or something like that. Who was on their defense back then? It was like really a nondescript defense. What year would it have been? Hey, how you doing, guys? We're doing hockey. Yeah, the only way you can be top heavy now is if the players are pretty young and haven't got past their ELCs yet. Like that Edmonton Oilers team. That Edmonton Oilers team would never have made. Just imagine that. Messier and Gretzky, Yari Curry, Paul Coffey, Anderson, Lowe, Huddy. Who am I missing? I mean, that would be so. Just those names there would be over your cap already before you even got started. You'd be well over the cap already before you even got started. The Detroit Red Wings, like with Lidstrom and Nicholas Lidstrom, Stevie Y, Fedorov, Datsuk, it'd be ridiculous. That's kind of what the Islanders are doing. Like, you got 80 million and you've got 13 forwards, and 8 defensemen. 10 cups. Donkey Mosquitoes in the house. Go Oilers, 10 cups. Yeah, I don't think they get a cup this year, Donkey. I don't know. That defense, they're going to have to outscore the crap out of everybody. You know, they say defense wins cups. Well, their defense, I mean, they said that, but the Edmonton Oilers back in the day did not have the best defense in the world. They literally just out offense the crap out of everybody. The question is, can you still do that now? I got some TikTok guys in now, so we can probably do this. The 80s, yeah. The 80s was a pretty crazy time. I got a couple. Do you guys want to do this? We're going to do the most likely to be traded from every team on TikTok. You want to do that, guys? You're going to stick around for a bit? I got the same amount of TikTok guys on as I do YouTubers. Tell me if you want to stick around and do that. We're going to do every team in the league and who could be traded from every team. In the 80s, defense and goaltending was a myth. Yeah. Well, yeah, the goaltenders didn't, I mean, they didn't have goalie coaches really all that much. It wasn't until Patrick Waugh started bringing in, he wasn't the first one to bring in the butterfly, but he certainly popularized it. It wasn't until they started doing butterfly stuff. No, we're going to go in alphabetical order. Starting with Anaheim. Okay, let's do it. We got enough people in here. So the Anaheim Ducks. What player is most likely? I think another one would be, maybe not most likely to be traded. What player would you trade if you were the Anaheim Ducks? And I know what my answer is. Martin Brodeur, yeah. Weichel says Manson will be traded by the Anaheim Ducks. Josh Manson. I think that's going to be the popular one for that. Raquel. Oh, I like that. You got one for Raquel, one for Manson. You know what? I'm just going to go. How am I going to do this? One for Raquel, one for Manson. I like Raquel. I know I would like them to trade Gibson so you can free him so he can go have a career. 28 years old, one of the best goaltenders in the league, floundering in there. Getzlaf won't get traded. No way Getzlaf will get traded. He signed a one-year deal with the Anaheim Ducks. I don't think he signed that with the idea of getting traded. Maybe. Unless he decides that he wants to get traded, then he won't get traded, I don't think. But I understand what you're saying. Getzlaf to the Oilers, he signed a $5 million a year. Like they'd have to have cap space for that. And that's going to mean that Kyle Turris was a dumpster fire again. Could you, in the fridge, there's cabbage there. Could you chop it up? Pipe dream for Getzlaf, yeah. So what do we got? Ducks, Raquel, and Mason so far. I may continue doing this as we go. I like Gibson, but I think Raquel is the most likely. But Chopper broccoli. I love that. Saturday Night Live. Is that David Spade? No, that wasn't David Spade. That was Dana Carvey. Chopper broccoli. Chopper broccoli. I love that. Chopper broccoli. John Gibson to the Edmonton Oilers. I will have... If John Gibson went to the Edmonton Oilers, I would probably have to get somebody to help me get my heart going again. I would lose my mind. I would lose my mind if John Gibson got traded to the Edmonton Oilers. Yes, please, all day. Thank you very much. Yes, it was Dana Carvey. I would take that all day long. But as it stands, I think you're right. I think Raquel makes about the most amount of sense. Like, why do they keep Raquel around? I know they need scoring, but they don't. I mean, they're not doing anything to get scoring. This is what I don't think I understand about the Ducks. Like, crap or get off the pot, really, right? You gonna rebuild or not? Yeah, you need scoring. We'll go get scoring while we're rebuilding. Then rebuild. Then trade Raquel. Don't worry about your scoring. Like it's like they're a schizophrenic franchise that won't make a choice to do what they need to do. It's pretty crazy. They should trade Manson. They should trade maybe not Lindholm. Manson and Raquel for sure. Get your first round picks. Gibson, get him out of here. You can always get another goaltender. You don't need to have Gibson. They're not going to be good for at least 3 years. Gibson will be like 31, 32, and his whole career will be wasted. So that's what I say. But I think Raquel is the most likely if you're going to go Raquel. All right. Next. So next we're going to go to the Arizona Coyote. I guess we know this one already. Yeah. Raquel rumored to Oilers? Maybe. I mean, if you're in Edmonton, every player that can score is rumored to go to the Oilers. Because everybody wants a score for McDavid. Phil Kessel is the most likely to be traded out of Arizona. It's almost a for sure. Besides that, it's Dvorak. If they're really going to go, if it's true that Dvorak has said that he wants to get traded, then Dvorak will probably be traded. So, CL is back in the house. We're doing it now. We're doing player most likely to be traded. We said Phil Kessel for the Coyotes and Raquel for the Ducks. Why get rid of Bunting? I can only imagine they got rid of Bunting because I don't know. He shouldn't have even been that expensive. Yeah, I can only imagine that they got rid of Bunting because Bunting wanted to go. Like, who wants to stay in Arizona? You don't even know if they're going to have a team. Next year, they probably are going to play in their old arena where you got to travel all over the bloody place to go to the rink. Like, a lot of guys are just like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be here any longer. I don't even know if there's going to be a team. So Bunting had an opportunity in Toronto. It was probably close to home and just decided to go that direction. And of course, Arizona wasn't going to pay him. If Arizona would have paid him more, sure, he probably would have stayed in Arizona, but they have no money. So Ducks should trade Adam Henrique. They should, but who's going to take that contract? Unless he has a crushing year, I don't see him taking that contract. Yeah, we had this before. I hope they don't go to Quebec, but they might end up. I would rather them go to American city because the game needs a American audience more than Canadian audience right now. And yes, I am Canadian. Has nothing to do with that. I like hockey in the NHL more than I like my own country. I want. There's another one, Adam Henry. Okay, so what's next? This one should be interesting. The Bruins. Who is the most likely to be traded from the Boston Bruins? That one will get you thinking for a bit. I think that one should get you thinking for a bit. It's not really, I wonder if we should go most likely to be traded, or what would you do? Oh, it's DeBrusk. That won't get you thinking about it, anything. It's Jake DeBrusk. They've been trying to trade him forever. DeBrusk, for sure, no doubt about it. They've been trying to trade him forever, so I imagine it'll be DeBrusk. Everybody says DeBrusk. That was a quick one. I'm surprised they haven't been able to trade him. That's the whole DeBrusk thing. It's like they decrease his value. They're trading him on his lowest value point, and basically made it public. Like everybody knows he's going to be traded now. So now they're waiting for what they want for him. Like probably nobody's going to give you what they want for, because there's too many question marks. Why would you trade a young guy like DeBrusk? Why isn't he working out? What's the problem there? So yeah, Wagner too, for sure. Charlie Coyle, who's going to take that contract though? Unless he has a really good year, I don't see that anybody taking that contract. There's no way. And if he has a good year, Boston won't want to trade him, so it's not likely. All right, next, Buffalo Sabres. Well, I know they'd want to trade Skinner. Well, we're doing it in alphabetical order, Carts. So we probably won't get to the Winnipeg Jets today. You'll have to come tomorrow. And tomorrow I do it from 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern Time. We're on here, so you want to come on for that. The Buffalo Sabres, most likely to be traded. I think, wow, it's actually kind of tough, because they pretty much traded everybody away now already. Maybe Olofsson? Rasmus Dahlin, wow. Oh, Eichel. We can't include Eichel. We're not including Eichel because we already know he's going to be traded. There's no doubt about, so we're not including Eichel. Besides Eichel, yes. Gergensons, that's a good one. Let's give it up for Gergensons, by the way. Jurgensons or whatever his name is. Gergensons, I believe is the way it said it. The guy sticks with his team. Like, he is stuck with them forever. Now, of course, he underperformed. He didn't really grow into what they wanted him to be, but who does in Buffalo? But he didn't ask to leave. He kept on staying there, staying there, staying there, staying there. Dream car, what's that? Gergensons is a good one. Rasmus Dahlin. I haven't heard Lauren. What did you say? Forget about. I'd say Butcher. Yeah, that's the one I would say. I think that they brought in Butcher for the purpose of hoping the heck they could turn him around and then trade him at the deadline. That's a possibility, yeah. But I kind of like Gergensons too because he's older. And if Butcher does turn it around, which is a big if, I think it's very possible they could just say, because he's still young, they could just stick with him. What's Sabres? Gergensons. Vinny Hinostroza is another one. He's 27. Yeah, he won't hurt anybody. I think Gergensons is the one. Yeah. I think that's the most likely. unless Dahlin decides he really wants out. And they haven't signed Dahlin yet. So that, but we haven't heard anything about how he wants out or anything like that. Okay, next. The Calgary Flames. The rumor has been that it's going to be Johnny Gaudreau. But, yeah, it's not going to be Coleman. How about Dubé? Maybe. Well, it won't be Mangiapane. Backlund's got a few years left at 2024. It all depends. If they're, like, really bad, if they don't improve, for sure, Monahan. Johnny Hockey or Monahan. I think maybe Monahan more than Gaudreau. Because if Monahan's bad again, man, he is gone. But who's going to take him? If the team's bad again, Gaudreau will still have value. People are just going to believe that Calgary can't get it. Who wants Monahan? He is a center, though. If he can even turn it around a little bit, there's probably teams out there that would take Monahan, but that's tough. It's either Monahan or Gaudreau, or both. They both seem equal, because if Calgary does really bad again, they're both gone. Let's face it. They can't keep on going back to those guys. You change the coach. He comes in, says, and then Sutter goes out goes out with Calgary as a coach, and they have another bad year again. They're both gone. They're both gone. So I'd say if one's gone, they're both gone, probably, right? But if I would say that if they have a good year and Monahan does have a bad year, Monahan's gone for sure. But you almost want to put both of them in there. I can't figure it out which one I want more than the other one. All right, who's next? Oh, your team now, Lauren. Where is everybody? Everybody took off. I thought this was going to be fun and exciting. I had Gaudreau. Oh, Donkey Mosquito had Gaudreau too. So we had Gaudreau for sure. Gaudreau won. Gaudreau won. Gaudreau is the winner. Gaudreau is the most likely to be traded according to our panel. That's what I call a panel. So Gaudreau, Carolina, most likely to be traded in Carolina. Jake Gardiner, but nobody wants him. On one hand, it's Jake Gardiner. On another hand, like, Carolina is never going to retain. I don't think Carolina will ever retain money. Cole, yeah. Cole's a good one. Cole is a good one. I mean, that's an interesting question. If it's Carolina, they'd be trading somebody. I think it may be a forward because Jarvis comes and rocks it or something like that. Like, somebody gets pushed out of the lineup because Jarvis is there. Like Jesper Faust or... That is tough. One of their young players comes up and knocks it out of the park, like David Cotton. Ryan Suzuki, one of their Seth Jarvis or somebody like that, and then they're in a position where they're like, what are we going to do here? We need to make some room for these kids. Jeez, I wouldn't even be surprised if it was Teuvo Teravainen or Nino Niederreiter. Because they already gave him up to Seattle, and Seattle didn't take him. Epic Gamer in the house. How you doing, buddy? You going? Oh, where are you going? Oh, you're going to go on your own? Okay. If you're going to, I could probably drive you there before I pick up Mom. Okay. Just as soon as we get out. Did you chop up the... Sorry, guys, talking to my son. If I go like right away, I should be able to drive you there. Okay. But you'll just have to come back yourself. Oh, shoot, too bad. Nice. Okay, what did Lauren answer this question? I'm sure it was El Nino. Okay, Lauren says, so we got 2 for Niederreiter, so I guess that's what it is. 2 for Niederreiter. I think Niederreiter is the most likely. But you know what? I'm just going to go. I might turn this into players who might get traded, not a player that most likely will get traded. Because I like all of your responses here. So, thanks for coming in, Epic Gamer. Awesome just to come in and... you said Gardner, but also Nino possible. Okay, Canes. I think I'm gonna turn this into a video about players, plural, that will be traded, because I like all of your guys' suggestions here, and I want to have it all in there. So, Niederreiter and Gardner. Yeah, I got Nino and Gardner. So yeah, I'm going to do players plural. So we can have all of the suggestions in there. Next, Chicago Blackhawks, player most likely to be traded. This is pretty cool because if it completely depends on how they do. Okay, here's something for you. What if Chicago went and got Marc-Andre Fleury? Yeah, good one. What happens if Chicago went and got Marc-Andre Fleury because Pittsburgh couldn't afford to take him on a full year? So he's going to Chicago to help this Lankinen kid out become as good as he can. And at the deadline, they trade him to Pittsburgh for the playoff run. I thought that right off the bat. He's just going there for half a year and then gets traded to Pittsburgh for the playoff run because they'll have cap space at the deadline that they didn't have before. Dylan Strome, I think, is a very good one, buddy. Weichel, nice pick, buddy. Nice pick. I like DeHaan, too. DeHaan, if they're out of it, I imagine, yeah, DeHaan. Carpenter's a good one. Now, if they crush it and they're in it, Fleury probably doesn't get traded, right? But if they're out of the playoffs or like they're having a rough year, I could see it. Or maybe they made an agreement no matter what, they're going to trade him to Pittsburgh. And then they'll roll with Lankinen, but they'll roll with a Lankinen that has had the opportunity to be with a legend like Fleury and learn from him. Carpenter is a good one, too. Carpenter is almost, if they're out of it, is almost for sure. And then Strome, I like Strome. They've been trying to trade Strome for a while. The guy can't skate. If he could just get his skating. Great passer, good mind for the game, very intelligent player, can't skate. That could be an epic goalie tandem for sure. So let's go back here. We had, for the Ducks, we had Raquel, Manson, and Gibson, right? Coyotes was Kessel and Dvorak. Bruins, I believe it was just DeBrusque. I never really went into anything further than that. Jurgensen's Dahlin was another one that was in there. Flames, Monahan, and Gaudreau. It could be an epic goalie tandem for sure. And I have a feeling Chicago's going to be totally in there at the deadline, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. Colorado Avalanche, most likely traded by the Colorado Avalanche. I have an idea, but I'm going to let you guys say something first. Most likely traded, or who do you think could be traded by the... Oh, did I miss the Jackets first? It's the Jackets first. Did I miss the Jackets? Wait. Buffalo, Calgary, Carolina, Chicago. Where's the Jackets? Ah, my Blue Jackets got freaking... Just wait. My Blue Jackets got deleted. I got to put it back in there. Yeah, Blue Jackets. Oh, there could be so many there. I'll see what you guys said in a second. Columbus. Okay, there we go. Blue Jackets. I can't see you guys yet, so don't worry about Colorado yet. Blue Jackets. I don't think they're going to trade Johnson. Yeah, Columbus has got to be first. Oh, I did. Columbus Blue Jackets, maybe Laine. They only gave him a 1 year. Merzlikins or Korpisalo is a good one. I think it would be almost assuredly be Korpisalo if they can find a place for him. Unless they decide, okay, you know what, we're sucking hard, so we might as well keep Corp. He's not as good. And we're going to suck for a while, but I don't think so. I think Kekalainen is going to do like super quick rebuild there. I think possibly Laine. If they're really bad and, you know, he just seems to have a serious attitude problem. If they're really bad and he won't... Oh, Gavrikov? Weichel says Gavrikov. I don't know. That's the thing. Yeah, if Nyquist has enough in him, they could trade him at the draft. We don't know. He didn't play at all last year. With his injury issues, I don't know. What's 72? Sorry, I didn't hear that. What do you mean, what's 72? I don't know what that means. So yeah, Lione, Corpusalo, Merzlikins. Just let me look at it here. Never Werenski. Probably not Voracek. Gavrikov's 25. I don't know why. They would probably want to build with him. Yeah, those are the guys, I think. Okay, next. Now Colorado. Now Colorado. I have one for Colorado in my head. So let's see what you guys do for Colorado. You guys said Johnson. Possible, but trading Johnson, I mean, if he doesn't play well, it's probably because of injuries. Yeah. If Johnson doesn't play well, it's probably because of injuries. If he does play well, I can't see how they would want to trade him at the deadline. But it doesn't necessarily mean at the deadline, too. Like, they could trade like nobody, and then in the summer trade him because all the young guys are moving up and they don't need him anymore. So that's a good possibility. Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with Lauren. I think Kadri is probably, could cause just too many problems. They could package him to get a better second line center. It's really their biggest weakness. Kadri is their biggest weakness. So I could see them packaging Kadri somewhere to get a better second line center. Well, Kadri still has value as a second line center. But I don't know. Especially just trying to think what kind of team that. The only thing is, how do you get an upgrade? It would be a weird trade, but I could see it happening. It's Gerard. Now, that is funny you mentioned that, White Joe, because I've heard they have so many young players that it's possible they won't be able to afford Gerard. I'm going to put him down there. Because when you think about it, Weichel's knocking him out of the park today, like usual. And everybody else for that matter. That's why I love doing this. Yeah, because Bowen Byram could take Gerard's spot. And Gerard is what? 5. The only thing is he's signed to too good of a deal. $5 million till 2027. I mean, that's a freaking sweet deal. You almost get, geez. They could almost consider trading Byram. They could do a big, huge trade to get another righty, in a center. Something like that. That's a good one, though. Because Bowen Byram is friggin' going to be knocking on the door for Samuel Girard right now. This year, probably. And if they wanted to go straight out and get a second line center and maybe another righty, they could trade Bowen Byram. Where the heck? Let's take a team to get a second line center. Bowen, Byram, Kadri. Yeah, they don't grow on trees, those second line centers. You can just pick up when you want them, that's for sure. I don't even know where you'd be able to get one. Oh, Dvorak. Maybe like Dvorak. You could trade Kadri and Byram to Dvorak to Arizona for Dvorak and something like that. Because they sure as heck need defensemen, young defensemen. Kadri can stew away in Arizona. They don't care. He can take penalties all day. They don't care. They don't want to care if they win or not anyway. So you might as well have somebody there that's going to, bring some excitement to the rink, I guess. Murray, yeah. That was a really interesting though. We had Gerard, possibly Johnson, Kadri. Kadri was the big one. Kadri and Gerard. I like those. This is why I like doing it. Gerard, I mean, it's tough to trade Gerard. I would want a huge return if I traded Gerard, more than what I just said. Like, if I was trading Gerard and Kadri to Arizona, I'd want Dvorak, but I'm going to want, like, draft picks, which they don't really want to give up. But you're getting Gerard. That's what you want to get with your draft pick. So I'd want draft picks and all kinds of stuff like that. And you'd want a righty out of them, too, to play for the playoffs, which I don't think they have much. Maybe Gostisbehere is starting to play like he used to or something like that. Okay, so next. Oh, wait, I forgot to change my... I could have probably had more people in here if I would have put that in there. Next. Dallas Stars. Now, Dallas is interesting because they've got a whole bunch of players that are like, if you look at they got Pavelski going to be gone next year or going to be re-signed, probably not for $7 million, but maybe the way he puts up points. Alexander Radulov is a UFA. Garyanov's going to need to be signed. John Klingberg is going to have to be signed next year at 29 years old. Oh, okay, I know what mine is. I know one for sure. Foxa? What the Foxa, buddy? I don't know. Oh. You think all of those guys? So, but, I mean, okay, if you're saying all of those guys, you must think that Dallas is out of the playoffs then. My number one is going to be Hudobin. I still think Hudobin's going to be traded before the season starts. I still think Hudobin will be traded before the season starts because they're not going to carry 3 goaltenders. And Yeah, if Dallas was right out of it and they decided to just say, okay, we're going to trade everybody away, get first, and then free agent back up next year. But I just can't see it happening. I just can't see that owner doing that. Don't a lot of those guys have no movement clauses too? I would imagine so. I'm pretty sure Pavelski would. Oh, if they're right out of it, Pavelski may not waive. Oh, he's got a moderate no movement clause. 3-team no trade list. Okay, so he can be traded. Jamie Benn has a no movement clause. What else did you say? Radulov, 15-team no trade. Faxa, he's making really decent money for what he does. But if, they're right out of it, all of those guys could be traded for sure. But I just don't see the owner doing something like that. I can't see it. A stripped down rebuild now. If I think they'll sign Joe Pavelski. I do. I think they'll re-sign him, especially if he's like a point a game guy. I think maybe not Radulov. I don't know. Those guys are getting up there, and Radulov is getting hurt a lot more. Starting to get injured quite a bit, so maybe not. Como for sure. Tyler Seguin's got an NMC. The only reason why they would trade Tyler Seguin, I don't know. Like I said, this has got to be one brutal year. Like, they just did horrible. But I think Klingberg is possible because they have some guys coming up that can take those spots. I think more than likely they would happen in the offseason, but that can't be the case for Pavelski and Radulov because they're free agents. Klingberg, I could see. I don't think Holtby because, if they're right out of it, maybe Holtby, sure. But Klingberg I could see because they have, what's his name coming up? Harley. Thomas Harley. 20 years old. The guy is just absolutely crushing it in junior. And Ryan Shea, I don't know much about him. Anybody know anything about Ryan Shea? Looks like he played in college. 6 points in 27 games in the AHL. Doesn't look like he's going to play. So, and they may not be able to figure that they can sign Klingberg because 29, 50 point, he's probably going to be getting somewhere around $8 million. So it might be a tough sign. Hi, how you doing, guys? I don't think, Seguin. I don't know if he's ever going to be the same after he played through those injuries in the playoffs. Much like Carlson with Ottawa. Like, it was a brutal injury he was playing through there. Anyways, we have Hudobin, Klingberg. We got time for one more. And we'll save the rest for Mario tomorrow. Because he promised he was going to come on tomorrow. The Detroit Red Wings. That should be fairly easy. Did I miss... Detroit Red Wings. That's, oh yeah, for sure. That's easy. Fabry and Grice, that's a good one. I like both of those. Grice, somebody will want a veteran out there. Yeah, that was before they signed him. They were just going through contract talks for Bertuzzi. That was before they signed him. So I think he's fine now. I don't think they're going to be trading him now. But I like Fabry, Grice. I also like, how come I just forgot? Letty. I think he basically traded for Letty to trade him later. I just can't see why Letty would stick around there and why they would want him to stick around there for. I don't understand that's what happened there. That was the weirdest trade. Stahl, there's another one. Yeah. It seems that Stahl doesn't want to go anywhere, though. He had an opportunity to go, and Stevie Y is one of those guys. If you want to be here, then we'll keep you here. If we have if there's a role for you. So, but I just don't understand the Letty thing. I don't get it. The only thing I can think of, they brought him in to help with their power play, I imagine, to teach those kids how to play on the power play. Because besides that, he gave up a lot for him too. Stahl likes it in Detroit. And Stahl's a family guy. He doesn't want to be moving all over the place. But he doesn't get a cup. But family comes first. He's not winning a cup there. I could see Stahl staying in Detroit and then, yeah, I mean, yeah, he is. I just don't know if he had such a good year. He's still a young guy. Ernie seems like a guy that Stevie Y would want to hold on to, and you'd have to pull him. You'd have to give something pretty good to get rid of him. He had a great year last year. He's known him for a long time. I was thinking about that too, CL. Yeah, I don't see him getting traded. Yeah, I don't see it. Unless somebody's offering a first. There's somebody who's offering a really good thing for him, but I think he's been loyal to Detroit. He's been loyal to Stevie Yzerman, and he's just gotten better and better every single year he's been in the league. He's the kind of guy that you want in your room. So, anyways, that's my full 42. I'll be back tomorrow evening. I got to go drive my son somewhere, go pick up Caroline. As always, this is fantastic. I'll try to get that video I did for, I should be able to get that video tonight. Yeah, he's a very valuable guy. Very underrated. I like him a lot. I should be able to get that video for the coaches out tonight, our general managers. It's a pretty cool video, but it is 52 minutes long. Try to flip through it as much as possible. Also, I remind you again, thank you TikTok guys for being on. I remind you again, if you could be so kind to slip over to my channel there and see if we can get NHL defenseman grades for all 32 teams. See if you can punch that one and watch it for a while. Get us up to 1,000 views on there. That'd be freaking awesome. You guys are great. Talk to you tomorrow. That's my full 42. Have a great day. Okay, bye.